Marilyn Day wanted to serve on session. She told me she wanted to help get new members, but she was white and she wasn't a lesbian. I couldn't break it to her, but she didn't have a chance of ever being called to be on session. Marilyn was a fantastic pastry cook and a true nurturer of animals. She was a kind and loving person. Marie Antoinette is much maligned for her comment, "Let them eat cake." It's partly due to translation. She was offering something she thought was a helpful suggestion. Marilyn baked a lot of cookies, and we gobbled them up. Like a lot of us, we get discounted for not having a lot to offer, at least at Fourth Pres. Welcome. Welcome to Sunday Coffee Hour. I'm Stanley Smith at Sunday Coffee Hour. We talk about everything and nothing. This Sunday, we talked about the personification of the cathedral, the geopolitical landscape, and institutional longing. The readings at Washington National Cathedral were from the Book of Baruch. Take off the robe of sorrow and put on the garment of gladness. And from Philippians, we're all sharing in the gospel now. The gospel reading was from Luke. We all need to chill out sometimes. The sermon at Washington National Cathedral was by Rose Duncan. Rose preached about preparing the way. It's not all about the past or the future. Prophets come from the past and are relevant today. They are part of the past and part of the future because they always relate to now. Rose said they call us to divest ourselves from the ways of the world. It's in stark contrast to government officials, church leaders, and community activists who are always pushing an agenda. God's not an agenda or a program. God is about being in right relationship with each other and with our Creator. It's not about being free to be anything we want to be or do anything we want to do. St. John is the prophet of this time of Advent. He brings the message of hope. Not that we'll always be happy, but that the change will be something that will come and we'll be able to accept it. God's kingdom may seem threatening to some and liberating to others, because it is. The status quo of national interest has a strong grip on us. Some supported Caesar, King Herod, and Governor Pontius Pilate. Some people even voted for them and were crushed and devastated when they were voted out of office. The ways of the past and the ways of today are the way God enters into the world and into our lives. It's all made acceptable in the person of Jesus Christ. We can't change the world and usher in God's kingdom without division. Some see it as a tribulation, and others see it as a liberation, because it is. It's about being the beloved of God. There's nothing threatening about it. At St. James, the sermon was by Lisa Hackney James. Lisa preached about God's message coming into the world. It's coming in real time. It's always coming in real time. Christ's time was a real time in a specific time and place with real people. Herod was king, Pontius was governor, and Trachonius and Philip were minor bureaucrats. They were all moderately corrupt rulers of their time. St. John came to point to the light coming into the world. He was an outrageous character with bad fashion sense. Lisa said she was moved by the recent rededication of Notre Dame Cathedral, even with what she called all the white marble nonsense. It's a story of resurrection for the entire world to witness and respond. Not everyone is ready to hear from the lips of another person, but they can witness redemption and resurrection in beauty and in a building, through music, or even by walking by an open door. There was a mild controversy about the organ music at the rededication of Notre Dame. It was improvised, and some found it chaotic and frenetic and entirely inappropriate. But what music would have been selected and who would have been in charge of selecting it? How could that have been more appropriate? We all experience real things in real time. There's nothing more or less appropriate than that. It's happening now, right now, here in the city of Chicago, in the time of Johnson as mayor, Pritzker as governor, and soon to be in the time of Trump as president. The light is always coming into the dark. Christ was a rebel. Life is messy, and there are all kinds of inconvenient truths. We're all looking for an open door. A door reopened at Notre Dame this week, and the door is always open at St. James. Next year, St. James will celebrate its 150th anniversary, and God willing, the door will be open there 150 years from now. Every now and then, there is something new coming into the world, and we need to be open for it and ready. Whenever I envisioned an event at Fourth Pres, I'd either ask Marilyn Day to bake something or Anne Murray to play the piano, sometimes both. I was often cautioned not to impose by asking people to do stuff like this. Anne Murray told me that was nonsense because she loved playing the piano at occasions. For many years, I tried to loop hospitality expert Stephanie Leese into helping initiate a culture of welcome at Fourth Pres. She was reluctant to do so. We did have a concierge from the Ritz-Carlton speak to us once about simple practices, asking a person's name in the first minute of conversation, using the person's name in the conversation, offering a person a drink of water in the second minute, and telling them where the bathroom was in the third one. It seemed simple enough, but it was never implemented. Stephanie said she was reluctant to help because she didn't see Fourth as fertile ground. Walter Brueggemann said Fourth was an active congregation of doers. We like to get things done. When we had the campaign to build a new building, people were really into it, but it probably wasn't the work that really needed to be done. We didn't collectively value baking cookies or playing the piano, but we loved raising millions of dollars to put up a pile of metal and glass. A friend of mine expressed disdain recently for people of limited means doing Christmas shopping for gifts they can't afford. Market research shows this is often the case. Those who can least afford it often give the most, even when it's to their own detriment. We all have better things to do with our time, more productive things, and more profitable things we could invest in, but we do something else anyway. Marilyn Day wanted to help recruit new members and grow the congregation. She spent her time caring for cats and baking cookies and being a lovely person. She gave me a cat dancer once, which was a feather-type bob on a long wire tied to a piece of bamboo. You'd wave it in front of the cats and they'd go wild for it. I asked her if she ever used it on Bob, and Bob got this funny look on his face and then started to swat the air. We all want someone to remember our name, offer us a drink of water, and tell us where the bathroom is. It's not rocket science. We can do this. It's God's reality entering in, and it's been here all along. If you would like to join us at Sunday Coffee Hour is every Sunday at 12 noon Central Time on Zoom. I'll include my email in the description of this video. Be happy to send you an invitation. And I look forward to seeing you very, very soon.